Very excited to have this. Actually, this is first official Village 3.0 conversation. So
Wow.
9,999 to go for our 10,000 conversations about Village 3.0 project. And very happy to start this with you, Traian. So maybe start off with a little bit, what have you been doing in the past few years and where are you now?
I'm happy also to be among the first to start this series of conversation. I have to say I love the Village 3.0 project. So I'm glad to be in this conversation. For the past 13 years, I've been involved with transforming higher education. First, I was a student activist for 5 years. We were trying to change Romanian universities from inside. I'm from Romania, from Bucharest. After doing this, we realized that we didn't change them the way we wanted to, towards more freedom for the student. Then we said, let's create our own university. So we've been doing that for the past 9 years. And we have an alternative university in Bucharest. It's designed around freedom to learn. And 1.5 years ago, I decided that I will write a book and make a round the world journey. So I left to do that. Now I think I'm in my 16th country in Colombia, and I'm preparing to go to Costa Rica to a gathering of alternative universities. It's called Ecoversities. So I'm in a way preparing for the next level of my work. I'm dreaming about a global university that is self-organized by its own students. So I'm planning to work with other people interested on a sort of a operating system for self-organized learning environments. So that's what I've been doing and what I'm planning to do.
That's absolutely amazing. I've been thinking maybe less grandly, but also along similar directions, but thinking more, approaching it from the direction of entrepreneurship, which is, in a way what project-based learning is. So also thinking, how could we set up something that helped people learn? And my dream would be that once you came out of the program, you either had your own company or you were part of a company that you started, maybe even multiple companies. I think that would be one amazing way to enter the, so to speak, working world, is already having started a company and being part of other people's projects. So I wanted to ask you a question. So many countries, you must have talked to a lot of people. How would you say your thinking and your ideas have changed and developed over this time?
Well, they changed and developed a lot, I would say. The ideas about my future lifestyle changed. I want to move to a village. For example, one thing it's becoming more and more clear that I don't know, humanity maybe, or it's a lot about learning, but it's also maybe even more about unlearning. So I become very aware that there's so many schemes we have to unlearn as individuals and as collectives. So my focus is changing from learning environments to unlearning environments. This one thing it became more and more clear. in a way, I gravitated from thinking about entrepreneurship and designing a project, a whole movement. But I was thinking about it in terms of designing a company, and being around projects that are designed and designed in gift culture. I realized that I want to move from this thinking, like let's say I would call it entrepreneurial thinking, but it's not. I mean, entrepreneurship can be much more than that. But I'm not planning now to design a sustainable company or something like that. I rather think of something that is similar to WordPress or to Wikipedia, or to so this open source, free and gift culture approach to changing society. And I guess my understanding of the whole economic and monetary system made me see that I would prefer designing away from that system, not designing into it. I see it as an important element that takes freedom away, or I don't know, shapes relationship in a way that that I don't like anymore. So maybe these are two things that changed in this journey. And one other thing I was speaking to you at one point is that I don't see. I wouldn't design now, especially learning spaces, but I see learning as a part of being spaces. So as a core function as of a community, for example. But I think designing schools or universities, what it does, it separates learning from real life, and it sends an implicit message that this is where learning happens, and then there's the outside world. So I would not send this message. So I would design learning as a part of living, as a part of community, as a part of work. So everything together.
That's wonderful. That's also very much what I'm thinking. By the way, WordPress is a fairly successful company. They've got revenues of tens of millions, and Wikipedia gets tens of millions of sponsorship money. But that's another point. So I wanted to go back to what you said about your thinking has changed, and now you're sure you would like to live in a village. Can you say a little bit more why your thinking has changed, and also what kind of a village you envision?
Well, there was a moment I was in Thailand in a bungalow, and I was sleeping and I was hearing all the sounds of the jungle, and I was happy and productive over there, and I had a moment of asking myself, why am I living? Why live 33 years of my life in a city, in a noisy city, and realized that I never questioned. So it's just the way it used to be. I never thought of going to live in a village. So this is how it occurred to me that I want to change. I want to be closer to nature. One thing, and I think it's about me living the change I think the world needs. So downshifting to a lifestyle that is simple, that is minimalistic, that is close to nature, and designing my lifestyle around this relationship with nature and with small community of people, and not so much dependent on, let's say, the global economy. I think this relationship, when you only eat if you have money, when you only have a place to sleep if you have money, so all this, so the basics of your life being dependent on your relationship with the global economy. I believe that we need to go back to local economies and to this more intimate and natural relationship. I would prefer to buy my shoes from someone I know that has a little workshop. I would prefer to grow food together with a community of people. I would prefer to build my house together with some people and then help them build their house. So I would prefer that at least a part of the essentials of life, they would come from the relationship with nature and with the tighter community, rather than from this global economy.
Yeah, that's great. I think a lot of us have a similar feeling. Though I do think it's about finding the right balance, because you're not likely to buy your computer from the local economy anytime soon. But I think there's certainly so much more. And I really like the idea, this example of shoes or clothes, of things which can really be manufactured locally and thus actually have not just be local for economic reasons, but also have much more character and local personality.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if you could speak a bit more about this idea of how can we incorporate learning into every aspect of the village. This is something I'm also very much interested in and really exploring in the work that I do, both personally and with the teams. And that is certainly my dream, a village that is a learning in all dimensions. It is a place of learning. How can we do a learning village?
Well, I think learning in a way is a very natural process for human beings. So first of all, we have to unlearn to put barriers and put learning in a classroom or things like that. So that would be one thing I would see as part of just let it be. Understand that humans naturally learn. They naturally design learning projects for themselves. They naturally seek company in their learning process, so they get together naturally. So that would be one thing. But the natural learning is, I think, can be accelerated and is not enough. So of course you can design things. I think that the most important aspect is the learning culture. So how you can shape a culture, for example, where it's okay to make mistakes, a culture where other people will reflect back on you the things they see as a gift, not criticizing, but helping you to grow. That would be another thing, where people put value on learning processes. For example, they take time to reflect on what's going on. And then they put time aside to practice and to train. And they invest, they take risks as a community for the sake of learning. So they see anything they do, they see it as a learning opportunity. So they allow themselves to make mistakes and they invest in this process. So I would say that the learning culture is the most important thing, because everything else will shape according to the specific context. Yeah, this is what I would say. Like making sure we have the learning culture in the village.
So that sounds great. I've been thinking along those lines too. But then the immediate question is, how do we create the learning culture? Do you have any ideas? I mean, small ideas or big ideas, like what are you thinking? How can we do this?
Well, I can draw some ideas from our experience in the alternative university, how we try to create a culture. We tried many things. So, for example, the alternative university has 6 values that were somehow we unearthed them. It's not that we created them or we just discovered what they were. And for example, there is a value is have courage to do the things that make a difference. Or another value is play like a child. Or another value is cherish your freedom and the freedom of others. Learn like crazy. So, for example, we have each year, we begin the year with a 6-day camp, and each day of the camp is dedicated to a value. So each day we have a design to understand and live together that value. So this is how the year starts. So we're celebrating a value, we're practicing them, we're designing events to live them and to remind them to each other. So this would be and then the whole year has a similar structure. We have monthly gatherings of all the people in alternative university when we celebrate a particular value. When we invite someone to the community, we invite someone that embodies a particular value that we have, and we sometimes make it clear and specific. We invited this person because it embodies this. So it's a way of always reminding, always celebrating the values that we have. Another thing I think it's about concrete organizing of things. So you need to organize that reflection process and get it right. And even if you get it wrong the first time, be consistent in somehow generating that process. So it's about just organizing events that are dedicated to learning. For example, we have a process in the alternative university. It's somehow dedicated to the value of learning like crazy. It's a process of having a peer that accompanies you in your learning process. So you get together each week and you talk about your learning process. And we have a whole system so that the people that are accompanying, they participate in a training. So we have this, like the generation that comes into the university has a company from the generation that was 1 year older and went through the process. And these people take part in a training. So we have a 3-layer design, and all of this is created so that we have the topic of art of learning. We have it present in the space. So you would meet weekly with your learning buddy, and you would talk about this, and your learning buddy would participate in the trainings around the art of learning, and we would read books together and all this. So this topic of art of learning is really present in the design. So I think that these concrete designs, they create a culture of learning.
That's great. Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, it's also what I've been thinking around creating these cycles and the rituals. And I think the challenge, the interesting challenge will be, because in a university, everybody is there to learn, right? By definition. Taking it into a village context where people are just there to live, and making sure that there is enough time and energy being put into this will be important. But yeah, it's certainly something I want to do. So I think, yeah, any closing comments, any other ideas you'd like to add?
Um, Nothing occurs to me. Just that I'm looking forward to see how the Village 3.0 movement evolves, and I want to be in one way or another to be part of it. I think it's a lovely idea, and combining. I think I saw it somewhere in the text. This idea of combining the I don't know, permaculture and stuff like this. So the more natural part, but with the modern world, with the technology, with things like that. I think this is the way to go. For me personally, a traditional campesino lifestyle wouldn't be enough. So I see myself, I don't know, I see it sort of like we have hubs and these co-working spaces around the world in cities. I see them in villages integrated in this with food production and stuff like this. And I see traveling over there. Yeah, a lifestyle that is really full of celebration and
Yes.
technology. So I'm looking forward to create that together.
Yes, definitely. As we ramp up these conversations, and we'll probably do some panels this year, so maybe we'll have you on for some more talks. And yeah, I think definitely it's about striking a balance and taking, I like the idea of appropriate technology, which means using the appropriate technology for what you're doing. Sometimes it might be natural building, sometimes it might be the internet, like now, which has given us this amazing opportunity. I'm here in Bali, in Denpasar, getting ready to sleep. You're in Bogota, just waking up, and we are able to have this conversation. And I would never want to give up this amazing ability to connect with people and ideas around the world. So thank you very much. And until the next
Thank you also.
conversation.